My name's Melissa White and I'm a decorative artist. I live and work in Hastings on the south coast. When John Smedley came to me to create a mural design for them, they wanted me to tell the story of the heritage of the brand and to create a landscape in which to tell that story. So for me it all began with a trip up to Lee Mills. I spent 3 or 4 days up there exploring this beautiful surrounding landscape and had a guided tour of the mill itself. Putting the composition for this design was such fun because there were so many references to bring in. Some of them quite quirky, which only the people who work at the mill would understand. So like a little private conversation with them. Others much more obvious. So for instance, we've got John Smedley himself in the centre of the design with a merino sheep, and then his wife Caroline sitting on a bench in her garden of rhododendrons, which she loved. There's a hillock at the front of the design which has strange leather tracking markings, because as I walked around the mill I noticed that the corridors are lined with leather tracking which would protect the flooring from the trolleys as they were trundled around the factory. As you look at the natural elements in the design, you'll spot some cherry blossom trees. They're there to represent Japan and the valuable relationship between John Smedley and Japan, which is 110 years old this year. In the distance, you'll see rolling hills, which represent the Peak District, but there's also quite a quirky mountain range just behind the mill. That represents a mountain range in New Zealand, in fact, which is where the merino wool comes from. Then in front of the mountain range, there's the mill itself, which is such a fascinating building. The brickwork, the angles of the roof, the glass, it's a beautiful building. The bridge that goes across the road with the jaybird emblem, all of that's in there. When John Smedley approached me to do this mural design with the possibility of it becoming knitwear, I was so excited to see how that would work and to hear that they were going to print the design onto the silk scarf. To see it in folds and knots and pleats is another dynamic to the design, which I'm really only used to seeing flat. It's been a real honour to work with John Smedley. There's something about that linear heritage of the brand, 240 years of developing this perfection in knitwear.